Jara.
Hi, Mom. Are we finally going to take what we have learned about facial features and proportions and draw the human face?
Yes, we are.
Then let's get started.
I'm going to begin with the front view. Remember that we have our egg shape for the top of our head. And draw lightly so that you can erase later. We have our hockey mask that we're attaching to the top of the egg. Remember, if you are doing a masculine one, you will want to round off the jaw. I'm going to do a little bit more feminine, so I'm going to just round my edges here. And I'm going to divide my face in half this way. And let's see. If you have a measuring utensil, it's a lot better. I'm going to use this. So half would be about here. So this is my guide that I'm creating for placement of my features. I'm going to divide this in half and this in half. So we're going to start with the eyes. Remember that the distance between the eyes is the width of an eye. So I'm going to find the center here on either side. Those are going to be my pupils. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw that in. I'm going to add my iris. And remember, you want to try to keep the sizing consistent. So I'm going to put a guide, let's say here and here on either side of the eye. And I'm just going to use my eraser as my measurement. And here and here. And I've got to get that spacing a little better there so it's the same size. Then I'm going to add my eyelid that touches the top of the iris and comes over. So I feel like I probably need to make my eyes just a little bit wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to the top here and that little curve. And I'm just going to drop that iris down a little bit. Then I will go in and erase. Now that I have my eyes proportionate, remember, we're going to go back to this reference page, that the center of the iris, or the center of the pupil rather, is going to be the outer edge of the lips, and the inside corner of the eye is going to be the outer edge of the nose. With that in mind, let's go on down here to the nose. Remember, on a nose, we're going to start with the base, the little curved part. So depending on the person that you are drawing, noses will all vary in size. I'm going to use our imaginary guide here. I'm just going to do a light little line to know where the outer part of the nose will be. So I'm going to draw in the nostril first, and I'm not going to make it complete. So the best way to have it look realistic is to not have these lines touching and finished off. So this outer flare of the nose, I'm just going to come out with that curve. on either side in reference to where that inside line of the eye is. And I'm going to erase those guidelines. And then this center point of the nose, we don't need that line anymore. Now, you don't want both sides of the nose drawn because it gives it more of a cartoonish feel. So you just want to draw one side. So if your light source is coming from here, you would draw this side. If your light source is coming here, you could draw it from the either side. So I'm going to have a little bit of space here to show that separation, and I'm going to bring this nose all the way up into the eyebrow, where the eyebrow would go. I will use that guide on that side to see where this eyebrow placement will be. And we'll go in and make those more detailed later on. So that's our placement for that. Now that we have the eyes and the nose, we can work our way down into the mouth. So our mouth will fall into this category right here. When working with the mouth, you want to start with that center lip first. So this line right here is where the bottom of the lip. So this center of this area is going to be where that center line is for your lip. Now, you're going to do this little part that curves down right here where the lips meet. We're going to do that center part where the two lips meet first. So we're going to make our mark here. We're going to come up and make this almost like a bow. It's going to come up and down on both sides. Now, depending on if you are drawing a picture of a male or a female, it's going to matter on the lips on how you complete them. So on this particular drawing, do keep in mind I said that the outer edges of the lips need to come to the center point of the pupil. So I'm going to draw a slight line here down from the pupil. So our outer edge of our lip could come out this far. So depending on if you're doing full lips or small lips or thin lips, that's going to vary by person. It's just a rule of thumb. So if I'm going to do a male version of a mouth, I would come down here and I would have this bottom lip come down and up. I would not touch these two lines. So if I was drawing a man, I might leave the mouth just like this because most men don't have big full lips. Now, if men do have a big full lip, you could go ahead and give them that top lip. And there's a couple of things that you can do. You want to add that upper lip, especially if you are drawing a picture of female. You're going to come in and make this heart shape at the top. And bring your lines out. Now, if you want the look of lipstick, if you want to add in color at some point when you're drawing and you want to do this, you can connect these lines on the top and you can leave that bottom separate, or you can go ahead and finish them off. It depends on the look that you're going for. Now, you can change the expression of your person based on the upturn of the sides of the mouth. So if you brought this up a little bit more, your person would be smiling. If you brought it down, your person would be frowning. So I have a solemn kind of in the middle kind of look here for this example. So I'm going to erase these unnecessary lines. We have our unnecessary lines erased, and we're going to talk about the ears. So your ears in location to proportion. Your top of your ear is right at the top of your eye. So if you make a little line right here with the top of the eye, this is kind of where the top of the ear would be. The bottom of the ear is going to be where the bottom of the nose would be. So if you drew your guideline here and here, this is going to give you your proportions for your ears. Now, all ears are different, just like all noses and lips are different. So depending on if you are looking at someone as a reference or you have a photo that you're looking at, you want to notice those small little differences in the ears. The easiest way to make an ear, especially if you're not looking at a reference, is to make the arch, the top of the ear. We're going to curve in and we're going to come down a little more than halfway, and then we're going to stop because the ears have several different components to them. Now we're going to come out from this top point and we're going to come down. We're going to make the lobe of the ear. So if you were going in and you were doing those details that ears have, you could go in and add that. But that is just a basic ear. Now let's talk about shadows. How do we create realism with shadows? Always have to keep in mind your light source. So depending on where your light is hitting your picture, your shadows are going to be different. So I'm going to imagine that my light source is coming in from the top corner up here, which is going to throw a shadow on this side of my face. So you will want to use a softer lead pencil for something like this. And we're going to begin shading. So there's naturally going to be a shadow that falls on the side of the nose. And this is a very light value right now. You will have a shadow that is on the side of the face. You also want to think of the difference in the lips. So if the light is coming from the top, the top lip is naturally going to have a little bit more color than the bottom lip. So you want to give it a little darker value. So you want to also think about these instantaneous changes. So where the side of the nose meets the cheek, that's going to be a little bit darker value there because that is an area that changes dramatically because of the shape, not necessarily because of the shadows. You also want to make these areas a little darker and define them. The inner parts of the ear are a slight shade value difference. Now you are going to have an instantaneous change where you have a darker value where the cheek meets the side here. And then you will shade this outer part. Then to add the rest of your details, you're gonna go in with a smaller pencil. We're gonna go in, I'm gonna use a mechanical pencil and finish off the drawing like we did before on the eye, where we add these details and that shading in the eye itself. So I'm gonna shade the corner here and leave some little highlighted areas. Since my light is coming from this direction, I'm going to do my highlight over here, and I'm just going to give it a round highlight. Now that we have our shadows and our details, we're going to go in and we're going to give our person a neck and some hair, because we don't just want a floating head here. Now our neck, it doesn't come down from here. That's what I see a lot of people do incorrectly, is they want to make the neck straight down from here. The neck actually starts out along the cheek line here and works its way into the shoulders. So this would be a good neck for this person. Now, what about hair? How do we do hair? Now, if you notice, we've got our forehead up here. Our hairline could be really high or it could be really low, because everyone's is a little bit differently. I'm gonna give my person kind of a higher hairline, and I'm just gonna kind of come across here and give her some wispies to create this edge. And she's gonna have a part about here. So this is the top of the head. So this is gonna be my guide for where the hair comes to up here. And then I'm just gonna come out with some wispies hair here. And keeping in mind to follow the size of the head. So you know, you wanna make sure that it goes with. And I'm just gonna start making some wispy lines, and I'll use my values and my shadows to come in here and to create the variances in the hair itself. For these more defined pieces, these little wispies that come in, you just want to come in and make them a little thicker. I hope that you have enjoyed this series on drawing the human form, and I hope that you have learned something new about how to draw facial features and how to shade and how to proportion a face correctly. And if you have comments or questions, please feel free to drop them in the box below, and I will try to get back with you as soon as I can. And until next time, you guys have a fabulous day.